Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 328. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey.
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 Tuning in via phone, dialing it in again this week.
Calling in.
Interestingly, it wasn't an issue with the microphone this week. It was just a connection thing going on.
Yeah. Old throwback.
Yeah, so we were just like, hey, just call in. That seemed to work out okay last week. This week on the show, we'll be talking about this year's Cinepocalypse in Chicago, with our main review being Eric Powers' Attack of the Demons. We'll also be talking about something we're watching on the watch list and going over this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can help support Film Pulse on Patreon by going to patreon.com/filmpulse for just $1 a month. Also, please consider reviewing us on iTunes. That's extremely helpful as well. The only thing that I wanted to mention at the top of the show with housekeeping is no Ryan watches a movie this week. And this is like partially my fault. I think it's probably also partially your fault, Kevin, because this week I was so busy this week, and I couldn't get it organized. So we didn't record a show. Like I just couldn't. And it wasn't like a planned thing. It was just like I realized it was Thursday and we didn't do a show.
Yeah.
It was almost like I completely forgot that we do a show every Thursday. I'm telling you, this week was just, it was crazy. It was so just nonstop busy this week. But I hope to get with Ryan, figure out what kind of movie he's looking for, and hopefully get something in the can for next week. With that, let's talk about Cinepocalypse. So Cinepocalypse is happening right now as we're recording this in Chicago. This is, I believe, the second year that we're covering Cinepocalypse. I'm covering it remotely, and then we also have Blake, who is at the festival right now, just cramming in tons of movies. We're going to talk about Attack of the Demons first, and then we'll talk about some of the other movies that I saw there, and some of the other movies that we have reviews for up on the site, and maybe just like the festival in general, because I think it is a festival to keep an eye on, especially, I mean, obviously if you're in the Chicago area.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to pull up the website here.
Pull it up. Get it.
Okay. So let's talk about our main review first. Now, we saw Attack of the Demons. This is directed by Eric Powers. Interestingly, there's no IMDb up for this movie yet.
No, there's not.
I do have a synopsis here. I believe there's one on Letterboxd. The year is 1994, and in a small Colorado town, three friends must use every skill their minds can fathom to stave off a legion of mutating demons that is overtaking their community. This apocalyptic event has been planned for centuries by a cult which seeks nothing less than the destruction of all humankind.
Damn.
Yeah. Pretty heavy, huh?
Yeah.
Kevin, what did you think? Now, I'll have a review for this up on the site by the time you're listening to this. Kevin, what did you think of Attack of the Demons?
Well, initially, this one jumped out at me right away because I think it was like right after you watched it, you hit me with the text. It was like, it's an animated movie using construction paper, which immediately for me is just like, yes, I will watch it.
Yeah.
Interest immediately peaked.
Yeah, that's
because I need to see it. I need to see what you're doing with this construction paper. I love the idea.
Yeah, I heard about it when I was looking at the lineup at Cinepocalypse, and then I saw a still from it. And it was the one still where it was like the fire, and then the person like melting, the creature like melting in the fire. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, of course, I'm going to see this.
So I gotta say, I was a little bit worried because I'm going into it thinking like a kind of like a rudimentary South Park type deal, where everything's just really kind of basic, which it's not. I mean, there's a lot more creativity going on here in terms of like the images and stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's either the nature scenes or the monsters, the demons, the people themselves. Now, the only thing that was a little bit tough for me was the look of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Just aesthetically speaking, that they were a bit rough to look at. But some of the details on them were great. Like I thought the eyes were good, but man, it was a little bit rough. But a lot of the other stuff is fantastic. Like I love the creativity shown in pretty much every single aspect of this, whether it's, like I said, the monsters, the demons, or, they create a lot of things such as like old video games,
Mm-hmm.
old arcade games. All the arcade games, they honestly looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to play them very badly.
What was the one? It was like Rat something or other.
Wasn't it Rodent Rumble?
Rodent Rumble. Yeah.
It legit looked great. Like the art of it looks fantastic. Like the way that they moved, and like the fighting game that he played at the beginning. I can't remember the name of that one, but that looked fantastic as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So overall, I was pretty into it. I gotta say, I did have fun.
Yeah.
The music I felt was fantastic too.
Yeah, I agree. The music was awesome. I pretty much agree with everything you're saying here. I thought that the animation style was great. When you think of construction paper, obviously you think of South Park. And as you said, this is way more detailed than South Park.
Yeah.
South Park doesn't even use construction paper anymore. They use computers to do their show, which
that totally makes sense. If you're in that kind of production mode, you have to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's just no point in doing construction paper at that point.
I completely understand why they switched that. It's not a knock on South Park or anything. And they managed to still, for the most part, keep the original style of the show. So no criticisms on South Park for going to computers for their show, especially because they make an episode in 6 days, for God's sake. I mean, that's insane. But for this movie, yes, it is way more detailed, and they do a lot of really clever things with the construction paper, as far as like liquids, like how they handle liquids in this. There's a lot of ooze and like pus and blood and stuff in this movie, and I thought how they handled things made of liquid all looked really good. I liked in some locations there was like wallpaper on like the inside the houses and stuff, and like they actually used, I don't know if it was real wallpaper, just like designed paper that looked really good. Like all the video game stuff, like there's a scene where one of the characters is really into video games, and there's a scene where he's playing a Game Boy, and they nailed like the color, like that kind of yellow black like color of the Game Boy. And there was just something about the vibe of this movie that just really gelled with me. It had this like kind of nostalgia to it. It's not like it was hammering you over the head with like 90s references or anything like that, but there's just the fact that it takes place in this small town, and you have this colorful cast of characters. Each person has their own sort of niche to them. Like the main guy likes movies, and the female lead likes music, and then the other guy likes video games, and they each have their own like little thing. But there's like that scene towards the beginning where they're so passionate about their preferred medium, and they go to like celebrate it with other people, and there's nobody there. Like the main guy goes to the movies because he's really excited about this like Italian horror movie that's playing, and he's the only one in the theater. And like the guy goes to the arcade to play some games, there's nobody there. And the woman goes to this concert. It's like her favorite band that's playing in the town, and she's the only one there. And I totally understand that.
Yes, especially in a small town,
Yeah.
which I did. I love that for whatever reason they kept referring it to it as a city. Like, we're in the city. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're a small mountain town. Stop it. Stop saying city. Why are you doing that?
I think they're adjacent to a city, because I think that there's towards the end they show like an actual city. So
that's true. But over on the other side of the mountain.
yeah. But I really just dug the vibe of this movie. I thought that they did a really good job with the characters. A couple of criticisms I have: the voice acting was not great. I thought it was.
That's the number one. That's the number one issue.
Yeah, it's really hit or miss. Some of it is really. I mean, it. And I'm not somebody who is particularly harsh on acting. Like I can suspend my disbelief pretty easily when it comes to acting. I think maybe with voice acting, it's a little bit more apparent, but some of the line delivery here just really pulled me out of the experience.
Yeah, and I think it's the two main reasons for this. I think is one is like the pacing of it, like the tempo of the voice acting just felt off.
Right.
Like there's a bit too much of spaces in between.
Yeah, exactly. It was
people reacting and talking back to each other and that kind of thing.
Right.
And then also it felt like they're trying, like you could tell that they were trying really hard to deliver their lines.
Yeah. It seemed very clear that these were people all recording their lines separately, and piecing it together just didn't necessarily work, because a lot of the dialogue is based on like reactions to what other people are saying. Like a lot of it is sort of the three characters riffing off of each other. And if you don't hear how the other person ends their sentence, it's hard to convey the right type of reaction. Like even though you're looking at
all
like
all the reactions were kind of the same.
Yeah.
It was all in like the same even keel.
Yeah, it just seemed very evident that they were all recording their stuff separately and probably in like little bite-sized chunks. And it didn't, unfortunately, at times it felt a little stilted, but that was my biggest issue with the movie. It wasn't enough for it to like really pull me out of it completely or anything.
No, but it is enough that it holds it back.
Certainly. I think that's the
big
thing.
I mean, it could be much better.
Yeah, that's really my biggest issue with it, and I think everything else is really spot on. I thought that the varied creature design was really cool, like how each monster in this has its own look and its own like way of spewing its pus stuff on you, and it the plot itself felt very very much like an homage to these like 80s and 90s kind of creature features. I dug that, and there was a lot to like about this movie.
Yeah, it was fun. It's a fun one.
It is fun. I was like within the first 10 minutes, because they do a really good job. So there's like this cold open where you see like the cultist who infects like the first person that he comes across, and after that it's just them establishing the characters. And I thought they did a really good job of first of all, like the world building, like this town felt very real and very lived in, and I thought they did a good job of taking time to introduce the characters and letting us get to know them. And this movie really reminded me of there's an indie game called Oxenfree, and it just really reminded me of how that game is presented and the characters in that game are presented. Very, very reminiscent of that. Or Night in the Woods too. It's another indie game that it reminded me of. Two great games, by the way. Any other thoughts on Attack of the Demons? I would say definitely check it out. It's got a pretty brisk runtime. It's like 75 minutes or something like that. So
Yeah, that's another thing that I think works really well here, and that's why I kind of say with the voice acting just really holds it back because like you said, the runtime is great, and it doesn't nothing feels unnecessary. Like they spend a little bit of time setting up the characters, but they don't overextend that, and then they get into the story and they just kind of just roll right through it.
I like the use of color in this too. It is construction paper, but they use a lot of like really bright colored construction paper, lots of pinks and greens and things. I thought it was just a colorful movie as well, which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
That is Attack of the Demons. Let's give it a score. Kevin, what are you going to give it?
I give it like a 6.5, 7. Yeah, 6.5. I'm gonna give 6.5.
All right, I'm sitting at a 7 on this one. I think just the creativity, the obvious skill that was involved in crafting something like this definitely gets bonus points from me. I thought that the animation was really cool, and I liked this medium to tell a story. Using this medium to tell a story, that was really cool.
I also like the attention to detail too, and to take some time to just have like a short scene of just like trees swaying in the wind, that type of stuff.
And there are a lot of locations in this too. Like they go to like different like diners and houses, and a lot of it takes place outside in the town. And there's a lot of like townspeople in it. There's a lot of monsters. There's a lot going on, and they really did a good job of fully realizing this world. It doesn't feel like they cut any corners or skimped on anything. It's like I'm just reminded of like anime shows that they do everything they can to animate as little as possible. So they like cut all these corners to sort of like make it look like it's being animated, but it's really not. The level of detail in this, and the level like the level of things that are like moving, like they add small movements to things that they probably didn't have to, like stuff in the background. Like you could just have a static background, but they added movement that makes everything feel like it's a more realized world.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. I think they did a really great job with that. I'm interested in seeing more of what Eric Power has. He has another movie that came out in 2013 called Path of Blood, which is a samurai movie. It's done in the same style. Yeah. So I would be interested in checking that out also. Let's talk briefly about some of what Cinepocalypse has to offer. They have a pretty good lineup this year. I'll just talk about some of what I saw first. I guess the other highlight for me, and I think that Attack of the Demons is the strongest of what I've seen there. But a movie called Villains is another one that I saw there. This is directed by Robert Olson and Dan Burke. It stars Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe as these criminals who rob a gas station, but because they're not that smart, they forgot to fill their car with gas when they're at the gas station before they robbed it. And they run out of gas, and they're on this kind of country road, and they go to the closest house they can find. Nobody's home. They break in, try to find, they see that there's a car in the garage. So they try to find keys, and then they can't find the keys. So then they try to find a gas can to siphon the gas. And when they go to the basement, they discover there's a little girl chained up in the basement, and they decide, well, we gotta rescue this girl. So they go to rescue her, but then the owners come home. The owners are played by Keira Sedgwick and Jeffrey Donovan. And what happens next is odd, to say the least. Keira Sedgwick plays a character I've never seen her play before. She plays this sort of deranged housewife, and this is a really fun movie. It's not a horror movie per se. I'd say it's more of like a dark comedy, like a dark comedic thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Because after they come home, find these two people in their house, they tie them up and keep them captive, and they're just trying to figure out what the hell's going on here, because Kira Sedgwick and Jeffrey Donovan play this like sort of 50s. They have this sort of 50s style clothes on. They all seem very polite, very prim and proper. They both have this kind of this southern drawl to them, but they have a girl chained up in their basement. Like, what's going on with that? So, very interesting movie. I think that it didn't quite stick the landing, and I feel like they could have had a little bit more depth here, a little bit more going on. But it's the characters, it's the four central characters that really make this worth seeing. Bill Skarsgård, just seeing him react to the weird shit that's happening around him is almost worth the price of admission alone. Just his reaction to how strange everything is. It's pretty great.
Plus the idea of those two characters playing deranged people, the closer and burn notice.
Yeah, exactly. The closer and burn notice playing these sort of deranged psychos. It's pretty solid. I have a review for this up on the site. I think I gave it like a 6.5, maybe. Yeah, that's worth checking out. Another one that I saw is called Kindred Spirits. This is directed by Lucky McKee. Lucky McKee he's a little bit of a hit or miss director for me. I really liked May, and I thought The Woman was okay. I did not like All Cheerleaders Die. And this movie feels like a little bit of a cross between May and All Cheerleaders Die in a certain sense. It stars Thora Birch as this single mother who has I can't remember how old she is, like 17-year-old daughter, and her sister, the girl's aunt, comes to visit, and she's played by Caitlin Stasey. And the aunt is, we could say, unhinged, and she decides that her niece is a little bit too close to her mom, so she wants to get rid of her so that she can have her all to herself. And it's a little bit of a psychological thriller, I would say, and it's okay. Macon Blair's in it. I didn't hate it. It was pretty middle of the road for me. I'd give it maybe like a 6 or something. I liked it more than All Cheerleaders Die, but I don't think it's on the same level as The Woman or May.
Gotcha.
But it's okay. Have you seen any of Lucky McKee's stuff?
May, and I think just May. When me and you watched May.
I don't remember watching that with you.
Well, you did.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
All right.
I remember that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Oh,
Jeremy Sisto. I forgot he was in that. What's he doing now?
I don't know.
Damn.
The other one I saw was called Deadcon. This is directed by Karen Wachter. This is about a YouTube style conference. It's sort of like VidCon, but they call it ViewCon in the movie. And you have these two YouTube stars who are attending this convention, and the hotel that they are staying in where the conference is being held is haunted by a demon, and they get attacked by the demon.
Now I have a question, because I read your review for this. And to me, it just sounds like they're doing The Shining, but with influencers.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Gotcha.
Very, very much reminiscent of The Shining. It's more like a ghost story though than that. The premise is that there's this guy who basically made the internet like a chat room in 1984, like way before that was a thing. And they didn't, whatever company was funding him didn't want to move forward with it. They didn't think it was going to work, and he was all bummed out. And then like this mysterious person showed up on his chat room thing and said that they can help him get this thing off the ground if he finds them friends. So I guess he like finds them children, and it like sucks them in or something. They don't really explain it at all. It's pretty rough. This movie's pretty rough. I don't know what the messaging is behind it. Like, is it trying to be some sort of like statement on like the YouTube culture that we live in, like a statement on new media? Because if that's what it is, it doesn't really do that, because the two main characters are actual real life YouTube stars. And I looked them up, and they're still making videos like every day. So it's not like they're former YouTube stars or anything. Like, they're current YouTube stars. And
yeah,
so I'm not sure. I don't know why this movie really exists or what it's trying to say. I liked one of the main characters, played by Lauren Elizabeth Ashley. She's like sort of disenfranchised with this whole like YouTube life. She's just worn out. She's tired of doing it. She doesn't want to do it anymore. She wants to get out. This is going to be her last convention. And I thought that, maybe that was an interesting thing to explore. Like the fact that, people look at these YouTube celebrities and they look up to them and they want to be them and yada, yada, yada. But it's actual work. Like having to be always on, always filming yourself, putting on this persona all the time is very exhausting. And I thought maybe that was a cool thing to explore, but they just didn't do it enough. They didn't do it in the right way in this movie. The scares are very like just standard stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary here. You got like blood drawings on the walls, and you got floating and children showing up at random times and doors closing on their own. This is really kind of standard level stuff. Some of the effects work was actually quite good. I will give them credit for that. And the score, the music was quite good too. But other than that, not great. Performances were subpar. But again, this is like one of the kind of confusing things. Like why would you get YouTube stars to be in this? Like, why not just get actors? Like, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I have a review for this up on the site as well. One that Blake reviewed, I didn't get to see this, but oh boy, do I want to see it, is Glenn Danzig's movie, Veronica.
People were talking about this.
Oh yeah, people were talking about this. As soon as because Blake, when Blake got out of the screening, he sent me a Slack and was like, "Oh my God, let me see if I can pull up what he said." I'm sure he wouldn't mind me putting him on blast with what he said. But apparently it's like The Room, but like the horror version of The Room. It's like that bad.
Mm.
And people were just laughing hysterically at the screening, but it wasn't intentionally bad. Like, I don't think. I think Danzig was like 100% serious about this movie. And it's a horror anthology based on the comic books that he wrote. And apparently it's just, I mean, if you look at our review, like the two images that are attached to that review, those were the approved stills for the movie, which are not even stills for the movie.
Yeah.
Those,
and like, isn't the one like not even like, in focus?
No, it's not. So when Blake got out of the screening, he goes, "Oh my God, Veronica, one of the worst movies ever and a cinematic experience I won't forget. It's unreal." So essentially, I can't wait to see this movie. I'm sure someone's going to pick.
Yeah, because like, is he in the movie?
I have no
I
idea.
like how both pictures are just him.
I don't.
They're just
Yeah, these are like promotional images of him. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just for him.
Now, if you look online, there are a couple other stills, but they weren't included in the approved press material, so I didn't want to use them because they weren't included. But there's like one other image that you can find online of the actual movie.
Wow, incredible.
So it's like three short horror stories, and just read the review on the site. I think Blake really, he just lays it all out, and I think after you read his review, you'll be like, well, I gotta see this now.
Yeah, it does sound pretty amazing.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
A couple other titles that were at Cinepocalypse this year. Under the Silver Lake was screening there, which I thought was interesting, considering that's like on, I think that's on streaming and stuff now.
Yeah, I think so.
They always do like a bunch of sort of like restored ones and like restorations and like repertory screenings. So they did like Hot Dog the movie. They did Falling Down, I think they did. Falling Down is just so good.
Indeed.
Flatliners. They had a Guar showcase. They were the ones that premiered the Tammy and the T-Rex original R-rated cut, which I'm very interested to see that. I just have to see that.
Yes. Then, yeah. Why is that? Why don't I have it?
Yeah, like I didn't know that.
That's my main question.
I didn't know that was a thing. Like the original R-rated gore cut. I have to see this.
Because I love the idea of, like, the T-Rex has to annihilate some people, right?
Yeah.
Just gotta.
They have to release that. That has to be coming out, like on Blu-ray at least or something. They did screenings of Total Recall. Really good lineup this year. It was a good lineup last year too. There were a couple that I didn't see that I wanted to see, like The Lodge. I'm really interested in that one. A couple of these I saw at previous festivals. Darlin, which is directed by Pollyanna McIntosh. That's the sequel to The Woman, the Lucky McKee movie. I was not big on this one. Joe Bagos's Bliss, which I'm really interested to see. I think that premiered at Sundance. Looks really good. Beelzebub. We have a review for this up on the site. Blake wrote a review.
I need you to say that title one more time.
I think it's Beelzebub or Beelzebub.
I don't know. Just you saying that word is fun.
It's a bad title.
It's entertaining, no?
I believe this is a Mexican film that features Tobin Bell, of all people. I was going to try to squeeze that in, but I didn't have time. Another Sundance movie, Mope. This is based on a true story, and if you read about the true story, it's pretty crazy, but I heard that this movie, Mope, is very bad. So I didn't seek this one out, but at some point maybe I'll be giving it a look. Satanic Panic also was one that I was interested in. This is the one directed by Chelsea Stardust. So overall, it's a good lineup. Oh, Why Don't You Just Die is also screening there. This is one that I saw, I think, at What the Fest this year, and it's a Russian film that's just completely crazy. This movie's just bonkers. The whole movie takes place in an apartment, and it's basically just these two guys fighting, trying to kill each other the whole time.
Oh, geez.
It's really wild. It's it's a dark comedy, but it goes to some really really crazy places. So I would give it a look when it comes out. Why Don't You Just Die? Overall, yeah, solid lineup this year again. It's a good festival. I would recommend check them out. Just check out the lineup, and if you're not going to be in Chicago to go to the festival, maybe just add a bunch of their movies to your watch list.
Yeah, because I imagine at some point you're gonna be saying those titles again in the old VOD roundup.
Yeah, most likely. All right, let's talk about some more watching on the watch list. Kevin, what do you got?
I got one thing, and that is Island of Hungry Ghosts. Which this is kind of interesting in the sense that this is directed by Gabriel Brady, and like all the material, right, it shows pictures of the crab migration. I mean, the synopsis is just crabs journey across Australia's Christmas Island. It's just tons and tons of crabs just kind of take over, and they move across the island. And they do show a little bit of like the park rangers and stuff kind of like closing down the roads or escorting people through these roads. And the way they do it is they jump on their little bikes and the car's behind them, and they drive, and there's a guy on the back with a rake, and he just kind of pushes the crabs out of the way and just gets you through. And then sometimes there's way too many of them, and they just shut the road down. But what this movie really is about is the refugees that are on Christmas Island. They're essentially housed there in these like military complexes. And with military complexes is you don't have to let anyone in to see what's going on. So these people are just stuck there indefinitely. You have no idea how long you're going to be there. And it follows this woman, Po Lin Lee, who is she's like a therapist. So these refugees come into her office, and then she kind of, she has her own way of doing things. Like she does stuff with like sand and like little toys and stuff. And, they just kind of recount either their experiences on the island or their experiences coming to Australia, like all that. It's really, really, it's a tough watch because obviously none of their experiences are good. So that is like the majority of the movie. And it just ties it into like her family, Chinese family, was like one of the first, I guess, migrants to come to Australia. And they have this thing of, I guess when they died early on, they didn't get proper burials, so they believe they just kind of like wander as ghosts on the island. So they just kind of tie all three of those things together. But it's interesting to see, and I mean, obviously, extremely, extremely sad to see how much effort is put into red crabs just traversing an island, and how they'll go out of the way, to make signs and move them out of the way so they don't get run over and shut down streets and this and that. But then, like, people, we just treat them like absolute shit.
Yeah. Sounds like a tough watch, actually.
Yes, very, very, yeah, it's a very tough watch.
What's the name of that again?
Island of the Hungry Ghosts.
Island of the Hungry Ghosts.
Correct. It's good. It's a really tough watch.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I have started diving into the American Horror Project. Now, what the American Horror Project is it's a series that Arrow Video started up, and they've released 2 box sets thus far. Full disclosure, Arrow was kind enough to send me the box sets. And these are all movies, many of which I've never even heard of. They're all movies from the 70s, and they're sort of like movies that are in danger of being lost or just influential in their own specific way. And they sort of represent the history of American horror. So there's 3 in each box set, and I watched 3 of them so far. The first being Malatesta's Carnival of Blood. Now, Kevin, you might be interested in probably a bunch of these titles. I think that a lot of these are kind of right up your alley. Malatesta's Carnival of Blood came out in 1973, and it's this really bizarre, kind of surreal story about this couple who get a job at a carnival running the Midway Games booth, and they are actually the reason that they're there. They don't tell the owners this. The reason they're there is because they're looking for the wife's brother who disappeared while at the carnival, and they discover that there's these like cannibal, like ghoul things who live at the carnival and eat people. And some of the stuff that happens in this movie, like at one point, one of the main characters is attacking one of these like ghouls, and they turn into bubble wrap. Like the ghoul turns into bubble wrap. Like their head turns into just straight up bubble wrap. And the person sees that this person turned into bubble wrap, and they just still beat up the bubble wrap. It's a very weird, it's bad. It's a bad movie, but it's really fun and very strange. That's worth a look. The other one I saw is called The Child. This is from 1977, directed by Robert Voskanian. And this is sort of like, it bills itself as like an evil child movie. So I was expecting we're dealing with an evil child situation here, but it's not. It is sort of how it is. I mean, the child is evil, but also there's zombies in it. So it's more of a zombie movie where she befriends these zombies and sort of has the zombies attack people she doesn't like, but she can also move stuff with her mind. So there's that also. This is another one that is just gloriously weird and also not great, but very fun. And the final one that I watched was The Premonition from 1976. It says 76 on Letterboxd, but I think maybe the release was 77. This is not really so much a horror movie as it is this kind of supernatural thriller where there's this insane woman who gets out of a mental hospital and attempts to track down. She gets a job at a carnival, another carnival movie. She gets a job at a carnival in order to hopefully find her daughter who was taken from her when she went into the mental hospital. And eventually she does. And she's like dating this carnival clown who is also pretty psychotic, played by Richard Lynch. And she tries to like kidnap her daughter, but she gets caught. And then after her and her boyfriend get in an argument, he kills her, and her spirit sort of haunts the foster mother of the daughter. And then Richard Lynch, the boyfriend, ends up kidnapping the daughter. So it turns into this like sort of police procedural where they're trying to track him down and get the daughter back. All the while, the foster mother's having these like visions, these like weird visions of the daughter, of the woman who was killed. Again, very, very surreal, very strange. It's pretty solid. The cinematography in this one was actually really good. This is a very low budget movie, but it looked really, really cool. Very gritty and grimy, lots of handheld work in this. So thus far, my experience with the American Horror Project has been very good. And the second box set doesn't come out until the end of July. So I'll have like a full review for all of those up closer to that time. But I can't wait to dive into more of these titles.
They sounded good stuff.
All right, let's talk about what's coming out in theaters this week. Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4. Very excited about this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I really liked Toy Story 3. I didn't think I would. I remember being like, I don't know about this, but I ended up really loving it. And from everything I heard about this one, it's even better. So,
No.
totally on board with some Toy Story 4. And it seems like this is going to be the last one. So, of course, Toy Story 3 was supposed to be the last one.
Yeah, it's not. It's going to be a Toy Story 5.
That's just how movies work.
Yep. Can't stop.
We also have Child's Play coming out. I don't know if you saw some of the posters for Child's Play. The fact that they were sort of poking fun at the fact that they were coming out the same day as Toy Story.
No.
Where there's like, because there's like that one poster, that one Toy Story 4 poster where it's just like Woody like standing there, and the Child's Play one came out showed like Woody's feet like laying on the ground dead. It was really, really funny. I don't know what to think about this.
Isn't this is the one that was hijacked, right?
Sort of. I'm not exactly. I don't necessarily remember the whole story behind how all this worked. I mean, Don Mancini, who was the creator of Child's Play, and he directed a bunch of the entries in the franchise, and I think he wrote like all of them. He was heavily involved from the beginning. He was doing a new version, a new Child's Play, and then this one came out too. So there's competing ones. The Mancini one is a TV show now. So this one is more of a reboot, and the Mancini one is a continuation of the original series. I've always liked Child's Play. I think it's an underrated horror franchise. I think a lot of people dismiss it as being like hokey or silly, but I've always liked the Child's Play movies. I like it when they stick to the horror rather than the comedy, like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. Those are not my favorites in the bunch. Although they're still okay. Anyway, this one is directed by Lars Klevberg, and it's the one that stars Aubrey Plaza and Brian Tyree Henry. Mark Hamill's the voice of Chucky. So I'm interested. It certainly has a new spin on it where like the buddy doll it's like AI. It's like sort of like Alexa.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to check it out for sure. Let's see. We also have Swinging Safari. It looks like some kind of comedy. Wild Rose. It's like another like it's like a rock drama.
Oh yeah.
We have The Command, which this is a submarine movie. I think that this was like there's something wonky about how this was like it was made a long time ago or something, and it's just coming out now. It's with Matthias Schoenaerts, Leah Seydoux, and Colin Firth.
Yeah.
But it's getting like this really, and it's directed by Thomas Vinterberg.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't this happen like a long time ago?
Yeah, but it's getting this like really quiet release, so I'm not sure what's going on with it. It currently has a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it is fresh. People are liking it, but I'm just not sure what the situation is with this movie.
I thought I remember talking about this like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think this was on my most anticipated list one year.
I think it was.
Well, needless to say, it's not on that list anymore.
Oh, no.
I lost interest.
See it.
I know, but Kursk, yeah. Yeah, originally it was called Kursk. Let's see. The Extraordinary Journey of the Fakir.
Mm.
We got Burn Your Maps. I never even heard of some of these.
That's not a good idea.
No, why would you burn your map? You
don't burn your maps.
The only time you want to burn...
You don't have to look at them. Just don't burn them.
The only time you'd want to burn your map is if you needed it. You needed the fire. You're stuck out in the wilderness or something. You have no alternative. Got to burn that map. I think that burning the map is supposed to represent the journey. Just burn your map. Just carve your own path.
This is a ridiculous movie, by the way. This is Jacob Tremblay, and he plays an eccentric 8-year-old American boy named Wes that has an existential epiphany. He believes that he is, in fact, a Mongolian goat herder.
Oh, God. You know what? Maybe I did see a trailer for this. Vera Farmiga's in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's just stupid.
Yeah, it's not great. Nightmare Cinema is coming out. That's a horror anthology. Got some interesting directors behind this one. We got Joe Dante directing a segment. Ruhei Kitamura is directing a segment. Okay. I don't know. I'll probably give this a look.
Yeah, you're going to watch it.
Yeah, I'm down for a horror anthology. Anna's coming out. This is the action movie about the assassin.
Oh, an assassin movie, huh?
Yeah, it's Luc Besson directed. And it stars Sasha Luss, Helen Mirren, Luke Evans. Have you seen the trailer for this? Looks pretty good.
No, I have not.
The action looks really solid. Really, really solid.
Okay.
Cillian Murphy's in there, too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be giving that a look. And it looks like that's it for theaters. A lot of stuff coming out this week.
This is a decent slate there.
Yeah.
Burn your maps.
Just burn those maps. Carve your own path. On VOD, we got Wig coming out on HBO. That's a documentary. We got The Nightmare Gallery. This is on the 18th, by the way.
Okay.
Canary. Ghost Light. And then on the 19th, we have Beats coming out on Netflix. Beats. What is that? Coming of age drama. A reclusive teenage musical prodigy forms an unlikely friendship with a down on his luck high school security guard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 21st, we have Perfect. This is that one that is executive produced by Soderbergh and produced and scored by Flying Lotus. It's a sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
Sci-fi one.
Is that Eddie Alcazar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this. Like I watched the trailers and stuff. I don't know. I'm sure it's visually going to be very pleasing to the eye, but narrative wise, I don't know.
Yeah, because I think this is one of those that's going to go either way.
Yeah.
You're either going to link up with it and it's going to be great, or it's going to attack you.
Yeah.
And be awful.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. It's streaming on some weird, I don't want to say weird, that's like a negative, but it's streaming on some different kind of platform. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, but it's like exclusive on this. It's like, man, I can't remember the name of it. It's like something IO or, hold on. I just want to look it up for people who might be interested in seeing this. It is going to be on, breaker.io. That's where this is going to be available.
Breaker.io.
Yeah. Breaker was formerly Singular DTV.
The what?
Singular DirecTV.
Okay.
Our mission remains the same: to evolve the entertainment industry with a decentralized ecosystem that empowers creators and delivers fans a diverse collection of classic and original content. Breaker.io.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not like seeing.
Oh, see. I'm like, I went to their website, like, hey, okay, Breaker, what do you have to offer?
Yeah, like,
and it looks like nothing. It looks like they have nothing to offer.
The only thing I'm seeing here is Trust Machine, the story of blockchain, which I think that's the Alex Winter documentary.
Well, I tried clicking on artists here, and I get nothing.
Yeah, maybe this is like a brand new thing. I don't know.
Yeah, you have the opportunity as of right now to watch one movie.
Yeah,
and then in a couple of days you'll have an opportunity to watch two.
Yeah, I think you got to come out of the gate swinging with this. I mean, considering how many of these streaming services there are now. All right, we also have Swinging Safari, and it looks like that's about it for VOD this week. Let's take a look at Blu-ray. Us is coming out. Jordan Peele's Us. If you haven't seen that yet, I would highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 4K steelbook that looks really cool coming out for that. Really cool front and back cover. Thirst is coming out from 2009. I'm sure that this would have to be a re-release. I'm sure that movie's been out before on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Mississippi Burning from 1988 getting a Blu-ray release. Let's see what else. The Beach Bum from earlier this year coming out, and Under the Silver Lake also coming out. Not a fan of that one. Actually, not a fan of the Beach Bum or Under the Silver Lake. Each had their moments, but overall, it was a little bit meh. Wonder Park coming out. That's the animated one. Hotel Mumbai. The Running Man from 1963. I believe that's an Arrow one. Swing Kids from last year coming out. I wanted to see this one, and I didn't get a chance. I believe this is a Korean movie. It is a Korean movie. And it's set in a prison camp during the Korean War. Looks really cool. Daddy Issues from earlier this year. And that's about all I have. Do we have any criterions this week?
Oh, we have two criterions coming out, two contemporary releases, which are the first two films from director Bruno Dumont. So you can pick those up. Got new interviews with him, new English subtitle translations, and then television segments, appearances from press tours and whatnot. I've never seen a Bruno Dumont film, so I have no idea if it's worth it or not.
Nor I don't think I have either, so.
Yeah. I don't really have any. I just don't feel like it. Like, for whatever reason, anytime a Bruno Dumont, and it seems like he only exists because of Cannes. Like, that's the only time I hear about him is when the Cannes Film Festival is happening, because he always just seems to have a movie there. And every time I'm like, no thank you.
Yeah. That's how I feel about a lot of the Cannes directors.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is. I have no desire.
I think I'm in the headspace right now where I just want to see things that are fun and more upbeat. And I think that a lot, and this is like just total generalization. Like, obviously there's exceptions, but I think that Cannes is known for its pretty heavy dramas and stuff. And I just, right now, I don't want to deal with that. You know, I want pure escapism. I want fun, energetic.
None of that misery porn.
Yeah. Can't deal with that right now. Life is depressing enough.
That's true. Very true.
And on that note, I think we're going to end it this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulse.net and @filmpulsekevin. If you haven't, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/filmpulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rickstraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.